If you want your contracting business to grow in 2025 and not require more time and effort on your part, you need to do these three things. Welcome back to another episode of Success Unleashed. Listen, the new year is upon us, and I don't care whether you're watching this before the year ends or after the year begins, time is ticking, and it doesn't ever slow down. Here's a crazy stat for you. Did you know that 96% of contracting companies will fail within the first 5 years? 96%. And of those 4% who actually succeed or make it past 5 years, only 4% of those will ever cross seven figures. So if you've hit seven figures in your contracting business, golf clap, congratulations. If you haven't, don't worry, all hope is not lost. But here's the real important thing, right? We talk a lot about growth on this show. We talk a lot about what you need to do to succeed. But really what I want you to focus on is, how do I create a business that supports a lifestyle that I want? And in order to do that, you have to have the foundational principles in play. You have to do the basics in order to get there. So I want to share with you a few stats and a few things that you can do that will ultimately help your contracting business grow in 2025 and beyond. Number one, planning. Nobody likes to plan. Trust me, I used to be the king of the just wing it strategy. I would show up at work, I'd be like, all right, what fire do I need to put out today? Answering emails, phone calls, and text messages, trying to scramble people to wherever I needed to scramble them to, and in the end, be completely worn out and tired because I was busy, but I wasn't productive. And I used to always wonder, why isn't my business growing? Well, it isn't growing because I wasn't focused on the growth of the business. I was focused on making sure it didn't fail, which is a completely different conversation. Did you know that businesses that plan have a 30% better chance of growth? 30%. So if you want your business to grow, you have to start to plan. Now, how do we plan? I'll leave that for another conversation. But understand that planning is what will make you grow better than your competitors. Here's stat number 2. 71% of fast-growing companies have strategic plans and business plans in place. What does that mean? That means that they get clear on a couple different things. Number 1, where they're at. Number 2, where they're going. And number 3, the most important part, how they're going to get there. When you show up in the morning, you have to ask yourself, do I have a plan that I'm working through? Something that I'm executing on? Or do I just show up and scramble and pray and hope that things work out? And this goes across the board, whether we're talking about marketing, whether we're talking about your sales strategy, whether we're talking about how you're doing your jobs, your hiring process, it doesn't matter. If you're not planning, you're going to fail. Here's another stat for you. Want money for your business, whether it's a loan through the SBA, whether it's somebody investing in it, guess what? Companies that have a business plan and are following that plan are 50% more likely to secure funding than those that don't. Don't believe me? Go to a bank right now and ask them for some money. 25 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand. Find out what it is that they're going to look for. If you don't have a plan in place, I guarantee you, you're not going to get funding. A lot of contractors struggle because the business they created has them feeling stuck. If you feel trapped inside your contracting business, still wearing all the hats and can't seem to get ahead, we'd love to help. We're offering a free planning session where we'll show you how to remove the chaos from your business and grow predictably. If you're interested, go to our website, www.americancontractornetwork.com, and book your free session now. And here's the last stat that I want to share with you. You need to understand that in order for you to grow at the rate that you want to grow, you have to be not only building a plan, not only executing a plan, but you have to be reviewing that plan. You have to be making adjustments. Companies that have a strategic plan in place and review it at least on a monthly basis grow 30% faster than companies that don't. So if right now you're wondering why your company's not growing and you have a plan in place, cool. Do something with that plan. Now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this, okay? Could you take what it is that I just gave you and say, man, this is really good information. Now what? Yeah, sure. But the now what is the part that's missing there, okay? So what do you do with this information? What do you do with the fact that you know you need a strategic plan in place? What do you do with the information that, hey, you know you need to review that strategic plan regularly, right? How does all of this combine into something that means something or can do something for you? I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit, okay? What do we do with our clients? The first thing that we help them do is put a strategic plan in place. What is a strategic plan? A strategic plan is nothing more than an understanding of where are we taking this thing, right? You got to think of it like a boat, right? Boats are cool. Everybody loves to be on a boat, but boats are worthless if they don't know where they're going, right? They could be led away by the current, but the current goes wherever the current wants to go, not necessarily where the boat wants to go. So you need to have a plan in place. Where are we actually taking this thing? So here we are, end of 24, beginning of 25. You should know, where do I want to take my business? Whether you have a trade business, whether you're a remodeler or a builder, doesn't matter. Where do I want to take this business this year? Because here's how things work. In a perfect world, it's called reverse engineered production. I call them reps, R-E-P. How do reps work? Well, you begin with the end in mind. So let's just say this year you want to hit $1 million. It's a nice round number, okay? $1 million. That's great. You could rally the troops, get everybody excited, throw a little party. You got the DJ in the background, the music, the lights, everything. All right, everybody excited. We're going to hit $1 million this year. Yay, ready, break. Everybody leaves, and then what? And then what? That's the question that they're asking themselves because they don't know how to make it happen. So the first thing that we begin with is that target. Where do we want to be at the end of the year? So again, let's just say it's $1 million. So if you want to be at $1 million, now you have to reverse engineer that whole thing. Let's just say on average, I'm going to have to use my calculator here. Let's say on average, your jobs run $5,000. Let's say you're a plumber and you work remodeling jobs and your average job is $5,000. So how many of these $5,000 jobs do you need to do? That's 200 of these $5,000 jobs, right? Well, how many months are there in a year? Let's break it down. There's 12 months. So you need to do about 17 jobs a month. Guess what? There's 4 weeks in a month. So that's just over 4 jobs a week, okay? What did we do with that $1 million target? We took it and we broke it down into something simple, into something clean, into something that you can now build a game plan around. See how this works? Now I'm going to take it a step further. If we know the number of jobs that we need to do on a weekly basis in order to hit our revenue target for the year, now we have to work it backwards and say, okay, what leads to those jobs? Well, my friends, that's called marketing. Your marketing, you need numbers around that as well. Now, if you don't know how many leads it takes to generate one estimate or one bid, it's going to be difficult for you to figure this out. So you're going to have to take some time to get these numbers dialed in. Again, for simplicity's sake, let's say that it takes 5 inquiries or 5 requests or 5 people who are interested in your plumbing remodeling company to generate one bid. And out of that one bid, you close, let's say 1 out of every 2, right? So that means in order for you to hit one job closed, you need to do 2 bids or estimates. In order to do 2 bids or estimates, you're going to need 10 leads. Is this making sense, right? Again, we're taking the guesswork out of running a business. Too many people focus on, I need to generate more money. Yes, you do. But it's not the dollars that matter. It's what leads to the dollars, right? And I get it. I know we're going down the rabbit hole, but you have to understand this, especially if you want your business to grow this year, okay? So 10 estimates, okay, lead to 5 bids. 5 bids, 2.5 closed jobs. Is this making sense, right? So if you want to hit a certain revenue number, okay, you break it down to how many of those do I need to do on a weekly basis at my average dollar amount. Then how many bids do I actually close, i.e. what's my close rate? Hopefully you're around 50% and you're not around 10% because that's going to be a lot of heavy lifting. Then how many of those leads? Now, a lot of you guys, I know these are just guess numbers, but a lot of you guys, your leads turn into estimates, right? So that's great. So they should be pretty close to each other. But then it's about taking those estimates, those bids, and making those closed jobs. Closed jobs at the dollar amounts that make sense to you. So if you want to grow your contracting business this year, understand a couple things. Number one, it's not going to happen by chance. the COVID baby days are over, right? Where you literally just hang up your license, slap on a magnet on the side of your truck, and people are calling you because growth was everywhere. Those days are gone. You have to work on your business. So you need a plan. Number 2, have a plan that makes sense to you. Okay? Make sure that you know, okay, revenue, where do I want to hit it this year? And then break it down so you know your activity every single week. And number 3, review it. Review it at least on a monthly basis, but my recommendation is every single week. Are you hitting your numbers or not? What adjustments do you need to make to get to where you want to get to? 2025 is wide open. The real question is, what are you going to do with it? All right, it's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Thanks for listening to the Success Unleashed podcast. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review. Until we see you again, it's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.